And e-waste is an issue that you mentioned. Was it 140 million phones that get dumped every year? And I think a lot of phone companies, mobile companies now will accept the phones back, which is a good thing. It's also a good way to get customers in the door to, but that problem really hasn't been solved, because there's a question of what happens to the phone afterwards, right? And where do they go to be recycled? So what are you doing there to try to really make sure that, 60 Minutes did a segment once where this company was supposedly doing the right thing, and they were shipping them off to China where they're being taken apart by kids in these awful situations. So
the first thing we do is we try to keep those phones in use. They're refurbished. And sometimes if and they go into the prepaid market, or we actually do sell, and others do sell refurbished phones, or they can go to other countries. So that's the number one thing you try to do, is keep the life of that phone.
Reuse before you recycle.
Absolutely. Then we have a process where we work with companies to try to put as many components that actually have, and that's why they're worth something. I mean, there's expensive metals and materials in them, to extract them and in essence recycle them. And then there's a process to make sure that they don't end up in the wrong landfills, and a certification process around that as well.
Some industries, products have tackled this issue by having a surcharge. Televisions, for example, I think it's $6 or $8, and some states have had that, where there's a revenue stream that's created to make sure that the materials are disposed of properly, so that there's some money in the game. So there's not an incentive to, there's some value to these things, rather than like, oh, we'll just put them out the back door. What would you think about that for cell phones, as has happened with televisions and other consumer electronics in California?
I'd have to look at it. We've made just incredible progress in a very short period of time. What we found is what really drives behavior. We told consumers a couple years ago, look, bring your phones in, and it doesn't matter where you bought them. You can just leave them with us, and we'll take care of it. They didn't come in. We started giving them money for bringing the phones in.
Amazing.
Amazing. They just, it increased a lot. So, that's something I'm sure my folks are probably looking at all alternatives to try to get us up to 90%. 90% recycling rate is a very aggressive goal that we've stated publicly. So we're gonna look under every rock or stone to find a way of improving that.